All are welcome back once again. After getting some idea about why we need to conserve the water, today we'll be just discussing that what type of methods we can apply or which have been implemented by the people time to time in order to conserve the water. And the most important and famous one is rainwater harvesting. So today we'll just first take a look at about rainwater harvesting and its importance. What is the rainwater harvesting? As the name suggests, we have to harvest rainwater. How it can be done? Let's try to take a look at. This is the method defined to storage and conserve the rainwater in the tanks, and that is during the rainfall. And the collected water during the rainfall can be used in the dry season, so we will not face the scarcity of water. So that water can be used for agriculture, can be used for our day-to-day purpose. The rooftops of houses are sloping so that the water droplets trickle down and get collected in the tanks. Most of the houses keeps the rooftops sloping ones, and these sloping ones are easy enough to let the water flow down. When the water flows down from the rooftop, it is collected through the pipes, and through the pipes it is collected into the tanks. And this is the best and simple method of rainwater harvesting. And rainwater harvesting, if you just try to take a look at it, it's not a new method. It has been used from the old ages, since our ancestors also follow this kind of a mechanism. And it is very effective and also the simple way of storing water without having lots of efforts and the investment. Then once it is done, what can be done here? And this is the best method of conservation of water. Now here, using storage tanks where the water droplets trickling down from the rooftops get collected in the tanks, and it is very common practice. Now the rivers and the streams brimming with water were the sources of rainwater harvesting. The people used to collect excess water and store them for the future use. This is some of the importance of the rainwater harvesting, and that is done all over the world in a different manner according to the areas and the situations. But harvesting rainwater in any means, it is called rainwater harvesting. So it is famous from the old ages. One more important method we had of storing rainwater in India, and that we will discuss in short here, that is called the johars. Now johars are also the storage of rainwater, but these are called as what? Check dams or embankments. Here in the picture you can see how these check dams and the embankments looks alike. So during the rainwater, the large scale water which is just being flown to the rivers or the streams can be stopped by these check dams on a large scale, and we can store the water. And this water can be definitely used into the dry season to prevent the water scarcity. So everywhere, wherever there was a possibility, especially in Rajasthan, because it is a dry area, so johars have been made. So in Rajasthan, you can happen to see lots of johars. These earthen check dams improve the percolation and recharge the water table. Actually, when we store this water in the johars, it percolates and enhances the water table, and we can conserve the water in a huge quantities, and that we can use for future purpose. So there are some famous johars located in Rajasthan. These are johars in Gopalpura in Alwar district, that is in Rajasthan, was the first one to be built. Some other johars are there in Bikaner, Savai Madhopur. These are located in Rajasthan. So this is also one of the method of study now the importance of rainwater. Now this means when we just store the rainwater, we can preserve it to be used in dry season. That's the first importance of rainwater harvesting. The rainwater, which generally flows without any use into the rivers and to the oceans, with the help of rainwater harvestings, we can use for the different purposes of human beings. So we can try to use the water for our day-to-day purpose without giving burden on the natural resources. Next, to meet population demands, this process can be practiced all over India. And it is not wise to deplete water from the freshwater streams and rivers. Actually, from Indian point of view, as the population is growing at the fastest rate, this population requires number of processes in their day-to-day life. So for that, they need plenty of water. Simply depending on the natural resources, just like streams and river, will definitely deplete this water. Then why can't we use rainwater and we can try to reduce the burden on rivers and streams? Now industries can also store the water during this rainy season, and they also can use for their various purposes. And also this water can be used for irrigation at a large scale. Thus, water, a precious resource, can be conserved to some extent. So at least some extent we can conserve it and use it in our day-to-day life. We have learned that there is an excessive use of underground water, and water level underground has been reduced drastically. But if you rainwater harvest, then definitely the water table also can be maintained and you can use some of this water for your day-to-day purpose. Like that we can conserve the water. Next we have, it improves the quality of groundwater by diluting salinity. Less quantity of water at water table will make it more saline. But suppose due to the rainwater harvesting, more and more water is being added to the underground level, definitely the diluting salinity will be reduced. And last one, it improves the drinking water when all other sources have dried up. Means, suppose there are no other ways of water resources are available, definitely rainwater harvesting helps you a lot. So these are the importance of rainwater harvestings. So wherever possible, even the small individuals also can do this for their day-to-day purpose, because nature has given a lots of rainfall to us. Make use of that and try to avoid the burden on other natural resources of water. Moving to the next, we have here storing mechanisms. Now rainwater harvesting is not saved in only one method. There were some other methods applied throughout the countries. Let's take a look at how they try to collect the and store the rainwater and also recharge the groundwater. There are various methods have been initiated, and there are divisions are two. The first one is a traditional and second is a modern method. And these storing mechanisms are known by the different names according to the areas. Let's try to understand what were the traditional methods. Now traditional methods which have been used from the long time ago and still they are used. Okay, let's try to understand here. The traditional rainwater harvestings which are still prevalent in the rural areas was done in surface storage bodies like lakes, ponds, irrigation tanks, temple tanks. Today also, if you happen to go to the rural areas, you can see easily there are still traditional rainwater harvesting methods have been done through the lakes, ponds, temple tanks and irrigation tanks like that. But in urban areas, as the land is not properly available and there is a shrinkage of open space, rainwater will have to necessarily be harvested as groundwater. So in the urban areas, that can be widely used to harvest or to increase the groundwater. So let more and more water go and seep underground. So definitely we can increase the water table. That can be done in urban areas. Rural areas, lots of open spaces available, so there we can store on the surface level. Look at the following methods that have been used all over the country. The first one, kunds of Thar Desert. Here you can see the picture of kunds that are mostly famous in Thar Desert. There is one more method that is called as bamboo drip irrigation, and that is widely used in northeastern hilly regions just like Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, because these are hilly areas and highest rainfall areas. And this is a very unique system where of drip irrigations, and it harvests the rainwater using the bamboo pipes. So bamboo pipes are connected to one another, and from that bamboo pipe the water is stored somewhere into the tanks. Next one, cool irrigation of Trans-Himalayas. What does it mean? Actually, Trans-Himalayas receives very little rainfall because it is located on high altitude, so there possibly we can see snowfall. But then too, Himalayan rain shadow areas, here the people those are living in the Spiti Valley have made use of the melting glacier water to feed their agriculture needs. So they have used the melting glaciers water for their agriculture use. Next one, Johars in central India, just now we have discussed about. Bandaras in Deccan Plateau. Some more methods according to the areas. Surangam in Western Ghats, Korambu in Eastern Ghats, Zing in Ladakh, Chiruva types of reservoir in Andhra Pradesh, Dongs ponds in Assam, and Kere tanks in Karnataka. And few more modern methods that have been developed over the years. These are called as, first one, pit recharge. Pit recharge is to recharge the shallow aquifers, and pits are constructed. In the sense, shallow aquifers where not very deep underground to the shallow level, the water is recharged. Recharge means the rainwater is provided so that water can be used through the pits for our day-to-day purposes. Trenches. Trenches are used to collect the water in the shallow depths. Trenches are constructed. Filtration tanks. Rooftop water is carried with the help of pipe to a filtration tanks. That is generally we have done in rainwater harvestings. Dug well. Rainwater, rooftop water collected in dug wells. Ferrocement tanks. The type of storage made up of simple materials. So these are some of the modern methods we have generally over the traditional methods. And now, after having the introduction about all the types of storing mechanisms and rainwater harvestings, now we will be moving towards the important point that is called as irrigations. So in this part we will be discussing about the important types of irrigations, how they are applied, its benefits and its disadvantages. That we will be discussing in the next part. I hope the introduction you understood in a very proper way. Thanks a lot for watching. Do take care of yourself. See you soon in the next video. Thank you.